We're back again, still at the crib, quarantine edition. Perfect here with me and the boys, BJ Digital in the house, and Ricky Leaky down below there. Special shout out to Mike Flug for the new the intro music there. We got a nice soundcast going there. Really appreciate that. And a friend of the program, Mike Flug. We should bring him on here at one point. Yeah, he was a pitcher back in the day.
He was a high school pitcher and a wrestler. More importantly, he's a musical genius. He's doing movies and music videos and video games right now.
And crackback intro music.
That's right.
Yeah, so what happened? We had. Say it again, man. Say it again.
Official original music for Crackback.
100%. 100%.
You heard it here first, maybe. You heard it here first.
We had no sports last week. So it's nice to have a little bit coming up. Draft is 7 days out. It's going to be a little different this year. They're pretty much doing Madden. It's going to be the virtual draft. I'm not sure if they're going to have the graphics of the players actually walking up and hugging Goodell, but it's going to be straight on the computer.
Saturday?
What?
Is it still going to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Yeah, it's the same schedule, the whole nine. They said they didn't want to switch that up because that would throw off the cadence of the teams, and it's already a different situation. It's old men trying to figure out technology.
Right.
They're it's the same thing. It's going to be the first round was Thursday, Friday 2-3, and then the rest on Saturday.
The only thing I want to figure out is what gas station you got that from. Nah,
son, this is a Mitchell & Ness hat. Actually, this actually came directly from Atlanta. Where's the Mitchell & Ness? Huh? This came directly from Atlanta, son. This is authentic Mitchell & Ness. I have absolutely no qualms about telling you if I have a gas station hat. Some gas station hats are dope. This one though is an actual Mitchell & Ness. I have a Chinese knockoff hat that's dope as hell. I just can't find it right now.
You have better Falcons hats than that.
This one I wanted to go because of the old logo.
Okay.
Is that a Matty Ice jersey there?
This is the Ice, yes.
Okay.
We're getting close to the end of the Ice. We probably got 4 more years of top level Ice. We hopefully don't waste it.
Windows closing.
Windows definitely closing, man. Julio's 30.
How old is he?
Matt's 35. Julio's 30.
35?
Yo,
Matt's
Julio's
35.
Well, 38 is the magic age for quarterback. You listen to my podcast later, you'll see why 38 is the magic age for quarterback.
Teasing. Look at that. Teasing. The man is a seasoned professional rolling out teasers there. Yeah, well, Enrique's got some crackback minis going on there. He's got a Jets preview for all you Jet fans out there. He did an NFC North preview today. We're going to be doing some other little side notes as well. Gets us some New Jersey stories coming. I'm going to be doing some movie reviews here since I'm stuck in the house watching a lot of crappy movies. But first and foremost, this is a sports podcast here, so we'll roll into the draft.
Pick some really bad movies.
Yo, man, it's not me, man. You know the thing is, I don't watch a lot of movies to begin with by myself because it's a long time commitment. I think I'd rather play 2K or whatever than sit down with 3 hours to watch a movie. I did watch 1917 the other day. Excellent movie. Got robbed. That was better than Parasite, without question.
Great movie.
Without question, it was better than Parasite. But, there's some other bad ones there. I'm almost ashamed. Netflix has a movie, and I watched it only because of the dude, was it Ed Helms? Cat from
I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, from The Hangover, right?
The kid got annoying, yo. The movie itself wasn't that bad. The kid got annoying. The kid wouldn't stop. Like, the cursing. A kid cursing a little bit is funny. When it gets to a certain point, it gets annoying. And the other thing is the kid it looked like a short, fat version of Shaquem Griffin. I couldn't.
It actually.
Yo, just double-handed Shaquem Griffin. That's what he looked like. So but Coffee and Kareem, only if you are extremely bored do you put on Coffee and Kareem on Netflix.
Ed Helms was funny.
That doesn't sound something I even want to watch, even when I'm bored.
Ed Helms is funny, and
Except I play video games.
The dude from I think his name's King Batch or whatever. He was one of the gangsters. He was funny as well. He's a YouTube guy. So shouts to King Batch, friend of the program. So So NFL draft, right? So we have a couple of things coming up here. Like I said, 7 days out. It's going to be a little weird. It's going to be virtual, the whole nine. Teams are trying to improve themselves drastically here. We got a few teams that are close. Who's going to be the most impactful pick in the first round? Like, who's going to make the biggest change on their squad in the first round?
So
feel free to jump in.
So my pick, and it's because I think this guy is going to be the first of his generation of what NFL defenses need, is the kid Simmons out of Clemson. Because, I mean, he's really the first. Obviously you can't compare the games, but you know how everybody says the NBA is positionless? The NFL is kind of becoming a little positionless too. You need guys that can do a little of everything. And that's the first guy that does a lot of things really great, not just really good. So my pick is Simmons. I mean, wherever he goes, he's going to make an impact.
Bit of a tweener too, right? Like he can play a few different positions.
He's definitely outside linebacker, free safety, could play either, could be a fucking all-pro at either.
Had that kid that came out of Alabama a couple years ago. Well, more than a couple now. He was a safety, and then the Rams made him like a weak side linebacker. Mark Barron.
Barron.
So this is an enhanced version of that.
Oh yeah. Way better.
Better hitter than Barron.
Faster.
There's been a couple lately. Clinton Dix was close to that.
A little smaller though, right? Simmons is bigger than Dix.
Yeah, Simmons is bigger. Simmons is every bit of like 6'4", 220, but he can run. Mm-hmm. He can burn.
So where do you think he's going? That's the backup question on that.
I mean, I got to believe he's a top 5 pick no matter who picks him. Maybe, people always talk about trading up for quarterbacks. I would see somebody trading up for him, man. That guy's going to be a monster.
Well, you have a couple teams up high in the draft that don't need a quarterback. Or at least don't think that they need a quarterback yet. Because you've got right there at number 2. They think they have, they may have, they may not. Dwayne Haskins, again, friend of the program, dumbest man on earth. The third pick is Detroit. I personally hate Matt Stafford, but they think they have a quarterback. So if I'm first off, Young's off the board first, so he's going at 2. Because as good as Simmons is, he's not as good as Young. So Simmons goes at 3, or does he go at 5 to the Giants?
I think 4 is the Giants, by the way. But yeah, I think so. From what I've read, the Giants are really interested in that kid Wirfs. And Gettleman hinted that they're going to take an offensive lineman, but I don't know if Gettleman's throwing smoke screens or not. Who knows? But that was the worst. If they weren't the worst, they were definitely the 30th worst defense in the NFL last year. And you're talking about a guy that could literally fix 2 or 3 holes of yours in one player that's going to be on a rookie contract, and you're not going to take him when, everybody likes to malign that offensive line, but they picked up Zeitler from Cleveland, who's a really good guard, and PFF still had them as a top 20 squad. So there's worse offensive lines, and their defense was almost dead last.
Well, I don't think that they value safeties very much because they got rid of Landon Collins real quick. And he was nasty.
Is he more safety or is he more linebacker?
Either one, but I'm just saying, whether it's Gettleman's philosophy or the whole team, I think they value that position. Eli was getting killed. They drafted the quarterback high. They put him in there at the end of the year. Everybody was going nuts over the kid. The fan base loves him. So I could definitely see them taking O-line. I don't know if they stay there or they move back a little bit. Again, I think there will be teams that'll trade up for Simmons.
If you're the Giants, you got to look for a partner to trade down and get some more picks. I'm on the phone with Miami already. If I'm the Giants, all right, listen, people are, even if no one's calling me, people on the other line here trying to get in, telling me, we got this, we got that. What's going on with this? That you got to be on the phone. The Giants have too many holes to just stay at 4. Now, with that being said, if Simmons is this transcendent star that we kind of all agree that he is, maybe you stay at 4 and you figure out hole somewhere else. If he's going to change the defense that much, you have Saquon, you got a superstar there. You pick Danny Dimes like he's supposed to be a superstar as high as he was. So,
yeah,
the
Giants will figure out.
What's your plan? Are you going to be a full offensive team where you're going to try to outscore people, or are you going to be trying to be a more balanced football team?
Well, exactly like you just said, their 2 best players are Saquon and the quarterback. So you got to protect them. You got to move the ball.
Tight end's supposed to be decent too. The Ingram kid.
Having one of the worst defenses in the league, one player ain't going to fix that.
Exactly.
This is true.
But now you're picking one guy that can do multiple things as a start.
He covers up a few holes, but if they have no pass rush, and I mean the other thing is if they have nothing, you have to start somewhere, and you might as well start with the second best defensive player in the draft. There's two ways to think about it there.
Right.
Guess who's your most impactful first rounder?
Whatever wide receiver the Eagles get.
Everything always goes back to the Eagles. The Eagles are a team that's actually has been rumored to be trading up.
Yes. Might move with the Jets, actually.
That's a long way up.
Yeah.
But that pick, you get the best wide receiver available. That's why any team with a wide receiver wants that pick because that's the wide receiver pick.
Yeah. If we can get to 11, get Ruggs. If we have Ruggs on that team, I'm telling you, the kid's offensive rookie of the year, going nuts. Carson Wentz is bombing all day.
If you move all the way up to, was it 11? Is that where the Jets are? Where are the Jets?
11.
Yeah.
Yeah, you move all the way up to 11, you're not taking Ruggs. You move it up to 11 for CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, supposedly there's rumors that they like CeeDee Lamb. Eagles are trying to move up all over the place. They're trying to package Alshon Jeffrey in the trade because his salary cap number is ridiculous for what he does, which is nothing but drop balls. Eagles supposedly like CeeDee Lamb. I'll take CeeDee Lamb. I like Ruggs myself.
I think he's nice.
I know you love Ruggs, but the first two receivers off the board are Lamb and Judy.
Yeah, Judy's going first. He'll be like, 5, 6, 7, somewhere in that range.
Your boy Kuiper loves Lamb more than Judy. He's got Judy as the second guy.
I don't like Kuiper. I always liked Mayock better.
Yeah, Mayock can't give away his secrets anymore. Mayock's in the war room himself.
Yo, Mayock had a good draft last year, man. He drafted like 4 or 5 starters. He was getting dudes in the 4th and 5th round that started.
But the early round, man, that Clennon Farrell pick, that was not a very good pick, especially when they could have gotten Josh Allen.
That guy started too. And what's the running?
Yeah, but there's 2 or 3 better defensive ends as rookies this year.
He also
their
found
6th round pick was better than him.
He found Cosby. No, but Farrell can play. He just got hurt. Mayock did have a good draft last year, and he got rid of Derek Carr. That should be an upgrade if they can fix Mariota.
So here's a hot take: the Raiders are going to be coming up quick. Not only can Mayock draft and make picks, but Mayock has been digging into these players for the last 7, 8 years. He knew guys in the 6th, 7th, 8th round that were impact dudes. So he's going to be, picking guys up off the waiver wire, inviting people to camp that we've never heard of, that we haven't talked about for years.
And then Gruden will break them.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I respect Mayock. The only thing I never respected him was evaluating quarterbacks. But every other position, he's been near on perfect. And I do think the Raiders are on the way up because of that. But I think Gruden also could ruin it.
I like Carr a lot more than most people. I don't think there's any way that Mariota takes his job.
No.
No, they're still looking to move him, and they said that he might be a cap casualty pretty soon because he's in the last year of his contract. It's not a big cap hit if they just drop him. Yeah, but they're trying to get rid of him. I honestly think that's one of the reasons.
Right to New England.
That's what I was just about to say. That he's about to say that. He's one of the reasons that New England, I think, hasn't moved on a quarterback yet is they have him kind of in the hip pocket. That if they haven't moved him yet, draft day, Belichick calls and is like, hey, take this 5th rounder and send me Derek Carr, get off your hands. That might happen. I think that they need to draft somebody. This is my hot take or whichever, that the Patriots will draft and possibly move up in the 1st round to get the successor of Brady. They're going to try to move up for whoever slips. So because Belichick's supremely confident. He thinks he can win with any of them. You just need somebody that's going to stay healthy.
Well, when have we ever seen Belichick move up in the draft?
But life's different now. Belichick's always had Brady. Life's completely different when you got Brady behind center. So whoever slips. So if Jordan Love slips, if Herbert slips,
Jacob Eason, if they take that guy, Watch out.
Or that's if they don't move, that's the guy they're looking at. I don't think that Fromm has enough arm to play in the NFL. So the Patriots draft their guy, and they sign Jameis Winston to a 2-year contract.
Ooh,
at
Jameis.
a bargain price. Jameis Winston's issue has always been discipline. The most disciplined coach in the entire league, at least we think so. We don't see it without Brady, is Belichick. So if you can harness Jameis, you got something, and you're going to get him at pennies on the dollar because he's not getting anywhere close to the actual contract that he was expecting to get. So they're going to draft somebody. I wouldn't be shocked if they moved up to make sure they get a first-round guy, and then they should sign Jameis Winston.
You know, actually, it's funny they mentioned that. For the exact same reasons you said, I think he's going to go to Pittsburgh because I think Pittsburgh's going to do the exact same thing. Tomlin's going to be hard on him and give him that discipline, and he only sits behind Ben for maybe another 2 years. That's really what he needs to get his head out straight. He's not going to be a 1-year fix. Jameis got to sit.
No. Jameis is not ready to win right now, but he needs to go to another program. But I will take Jameis over Dalton. I'd take Jameis. Yeah. I don't think Cam Newton's healthy, so I wouldn't take him. Take him over Cam. I would also take him over even Derek Carr if Derek Carr was available. So Jameis to be the of what's left, he's the best one.
I don't see Jameis in New England. I don't see Belichick playing somebody that turns the ball over that much.
But here's the thing, right? Belichick, the discipline Belichick instills, that knocks a third of the interceptions off right there. And Belichick's telling the other coach better play calling, or McDaniels is telling him better play calling, and those interceptions don't happen. Dude also got LASIK like 3 months ago. I don't know why he didn't get that when he was still at Florida State. But you can convince yourself that you can win with him. The kid's got a pedigree. I mean, he was a redshirt freshman, won a national title. The kid's a winner. He just needs somebody that's going to be, digging his ass and actually tell him, listen, you made a stupid read there. Tell me where the ball was supposed to go. Oh, should have went to here. Then do it the next time. That sort of thing. He needs somebody that's going to be actually grab his face mask and let him know he's not the brightest kid in the box, the brightest bulb in the box, but he's smart enough on a football field to win games for you. You don't win at a major program and go through the teams that they went through to win a national title and not have some aptitude. And he was, he threw 30 touchdowns last year. He threw 30 interceptions as well. But if he's 30-21, no one's complaining about it. But it's 30-30, so it looks bad.
Yeah, I mean, really, 30-15, he's easily a Pro Bowl quarterback.
30-15, he's getting the money that he was looking to get this year. He would get that $30 million contract.
15 interceptions is a lot different than 30 interceptions.
That's what I'm saying. But the first thing that Belichick is going to say is, with disciplined play calling, we'll knock a third of those off. So we're down to 20 right there. A tip ball here or there doesn't happen. You're down to 18. You can convince yourself that you can bring that interception total down. And he's never thrown that many before, and he's played a lot of games. I'm just saying, he lost his job. He had no chance of keeping that job in Tampa, especially when Brady said that he was going to be going down there. But if I'm looking to replace somebody, Pittsburgh.
You don't think you're going to beat out Brady?
That's a whole nother topic. In fact, we're going to have to stop for a second to pay some bills. We're going to come back with that question exactly right there. So could he have beaten out Brady? We'll be back in just a second. Crack back.
Eat more Scrapple at the Scrapple Shack. Coming soon.
Crackbacks, and we're back here. We ended on an interesting question there. Guest was asking, if Jameis had stayed in Tampa, would he have had any shot at beating out Brady for the starting job? Fellas?
I'm going to go ahead and say, since they didn't pay Jameis a dime and gave Tom Brady $25 million a year, that there's no chance in hell he was beating out Tom Brady.
Ditto. I got nothing else to say. No chance in hell.
All right, so Sage isn't here, so I'm gonna have to play the role of Sage here. The two of you are sheep. All right, you're just taking in all the information that ESPN spews at you.
Tells you like Brady.
You take all this information from Cowherd.
I like Cowherd.
There, he's gonna take over. The NFC South. Let me just tell you something right now. Tom Brady's done, done. There was a great running back out of Florida State that played for the Bucs and played for Atlanta. His name was Warwick. His last name was Dunn, and that's what Tom Brady is. Tom Brady is finished.
D-U-N.
Tom Brady is finished. His arm is done. He's on a new arm right now. His arm is wet Spetzel. He can't get the ball 25 yards down the field without a full windup anymore. The guy's done. So Jameis would have beaten him out. High price backup.
Have you seen Tom Brady's appearances in these Alone Together coronavirus commercials?
Well, with this, his son used to have to leave the house in order to regain energy for Tom to steal from him through, French kissing. That's how they used to do that. But now that they're stuck in the house quarantined, the son can't leave to replenish other life forces. So Brady is not only was his arm done already, he's getting weaker because he can't get young life force. Jameis would have beaten him out hands down.
No chance.
So, coming from someone, I've seen Tom Brady beat my team twice a year for the last 20 years. And I'll be honest, I didn't see a drop-off in his arm last year. The arm wasn't the problem last year. He wasn't underthrowing guys in deep routes. They were running the wrong route.
Noodle arm.
Drew Brees got a noodle arm.
He can't get the ball all the way down the field to where Godwin and Evans are. That team's a 500 team, 9-7 at best.
I hope you're right.
He's had massive plastic surgery on his face, and it looks awful. It looks terrible.
9-7 at best.
He looks like his face is getting sucked into an asshole.
It actually is. He's returning back to his true form. So he's actually turning back into an asshole. Tommy 12. Or the Tampa Bay or Tampa Brady. Those are the two.
Tampa Brady.
That he just what do you call it? Trademarked. Tampa Brady. Huh?
TB12 is his
No, that's his line. TB12 is his line. But if you go on his website right now, you can buy Tampa Bay T-shirts. TOMBA. Tampa Tom/Pa Bay Buccaneer T-shirts.
I wonder if those are selling. I wonder if they're selling.
And then the other one he has Tampa Brady Buccaneers. He trademarked both.
That's not bad. That one's a little bit better than Tampa.
No, they both suck. That other one only sounded better because I said it second. Whichever one was said second would have sounded better. They're both stupid.
Nothing compared to Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Funny that you bring up Wentz, right? We actually had a call here. I've got a message for you guys here. Someone who's been critical of Wentz in the past here. We got a friend of the program, local fan by the name of Corey. He's got a message. It's really directed at Enrique, but I guess all of us will be able to chime in on that. So let's see what young Mr. Corey had to say here.
Hey, Crackbacks. Thanks for having me on tonight. This is Corey calling in. I was curious to get you guys' opinion on a topic in the NFL regarding the Jets QB situation. I personally don't think Sam Darnold is a quality professional quarterback. I do agree that he had one hell of a college career. However, I don't think it's translated very well into the pros. The guy finished as a number 26 quarterback last year. And he threw a pretty good amount of interceptions, especially against the Patriots. Everybody knows about the seeing ghost game. However, I was curious to get you guys' feedback, what your thoughts are on him moving forward. I think he had 3 good games last year. One of those was against Dallas, credit-worthy team. I think he threw for 320-plus yards, 2 TDs and interception. And the other 2 games came against Washington and Oakland, which were both subpar teams. So he also had a total of 20 turnovers last year, and that's a combination of 15 interceptions and I believe it was 5 fumbles. So I was just curious to get your feedback and see what you guys' opinions were. Have a great night.
Friend of the program, Corey. First off, harsh, just kind of coming out hard at Darnold, and very, very critical. Came with some stats to back up himself there. Flores, for you.
Yeah, I got a question though. He said he's the number 26 quarterback. In terms of what? What stat was that?
But what I always try to explain to Corey, and which I think it's important when evaluating quarterbacks, you can't evaluate quarterbacks in a vacuum because the situation matters. So just comparing the stats of any quarterback in any situation is for example, Obviously, he won the Super Bowl, but let's look at Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is also in the best quarterback situation in the NFL. Is there a better quarterback situation in the NFL other than Patrick Mahomes right now?
It would be the Rams, but Goff sucks.
Yeah, but Goff sucks, exactly. The Jets, that's not the best quarterback situation. They had about the 30th offensive line, according to PFF last year. I mean, I don't think Le'Veon took a step back. I think the offensive line was that bad, but we didn't get – at the end of the day, we didn't get Pittsburgh Le'Veon. The best receiver is Robbie Anderson. Like, you can't evaluate him properly compared to some of those other guys when he's not given the tools to succeed. So what I think is that I'm surprised even against a Washington, he's ever able to actually be successful when everything around him is actually for him not to be successful.
Also needs to be noted that Corey is a Dolphins fan.
Yes.
That comes into play. I just wanted to be noted. A Dolphins fan was calling in with quarterback critiques.
Just so you know, real quick, just so you know, let me explain to the viewers real quick. There's a Miami trifecta. That if you are a fan of the 3 Miami teams, you lose 3 IQ points automatically. And Corey falls into that because he has the worst ones, starting with the Miami Hurricanes. And then 1B, the Miami Heat. So it's like 1A, 1B. And then you got the Dolphins at 3 or 2, wherever you want to put them. But 1A and 1B is the Heat and the Hurricanes. You automatically lose IQ points when you're a fan of one of those 2 teams, and I firmly believe it.
Reek, I know you always got the inside info on the Jets. Is Le'Veon really trying to get out of there?
Not from what I've read. He's happy making his money. That's why I think he's not complaining, because he got paid.
We've always said it, man. If you're rich and famous, there is no better place to be than New York.
Yeah, dude, he dropped another single on Apple Music. New York's giving him the platform to raise his brand. He's happy, dude.
Yeah, rich and famous New York is a wonderful spot. So, are you disappointed in Darnold as a Jet fan? And in fact, hold press pause on that. Gets him to ask you first, as an outsider, and you have watched some Jets. You know, we kind of watch each other's teams, so you know what's going on with our other favorite teams there. Your thoughts on Darnold? Is he a disappointment? Has he living up to that 3rd overall pick? And do you think the Jets have a chance of taking the division this year?
Let me give my thoughts on Corey first.
Please do.
Corey's a hater. Always has been.
Always.
His funniest moment before this phone call was he said, "Joel, you know why they call Matt Ryan Matty Ice? Because that dude never heats up." He's a hater.
I remember that. That was hilarious, though. That was hilarious. That was one of his best jokes. Shout out to my boy Corey. That was one of his best jokes.
I want to personally thank Corey for the call in. He's a friend of the program, friend of ours. I love the kid no matter what. He's annoying as shit sometimes, but, our guys. But he's a hater. I like Darnold, personally. I like Darnold a lot. When we were working together, right before the Jets drafted Darnold, me and Enrique used to talk like every day. And I'd be like, all right, who do you want? Who do you want? And he's like, I just hope the fucking Browns or the Giants don't take Darnold. We were talking about that for months. Should they try and trade up? Are the Giants going to let him slip? Are the Browns going to take him? And then the Browns made the all-time blunder. Baker Mayfield. Garbage. Darnold is good. His arm is Pro Bowl level quality. He's I hate to use this H term, but he's definitely a gunslinger.
Bounce back from mono.
He takes a lot of risks, and I know you were just giving some kind of diatribe about how Jameis could be better, eliminating the risk. Well, like Enrique just said, the Jets' offensive line will get better. He'll have more time in the pocket. He'll have more experience to read defenses, and he'll have better receivers, and he's going to get a lot better, I think.
And next year when he has Josh McDaniels as his head coach instead of Adam Gase, he'll even be even better. Enrique, you got anything for Corey?
Yeah, no, thanks for calling in, Corey. Appreciate the love. I know he's one of our first few listeners here, so appreciate everything you do, buddy.
Gotta get Corey on for a segment. Definitely.
Yeah, we gotta get Corey on for a segment.
We'll bring Corey
I'll
on
try not to laugh. We'll ask him about the Dolphins draft picks, and I'll try not to laugh.
We'll have to get an Ask a Fan segment or something. Yeah, but shouts to Corey for the message. First one on there. You're in Crackbacks history. This is going to go down in the.
That's right. Corey, number 1 caller.
Number one call.
Number one caller, baby. What's up?
Corey. To finish up the football segment here, we got a little bit of basketball to talk about after, but just to put a period on the sentence here with the draft. Worst move, the move that your team made on draft day, one that looked like it was going to line up for something to happen, and then they hit you with a curveball that's had you upset for years to come. I got mine, but I'll go last. Go ahead. Who wants to go first?
Go ahead, guys.
I got to say something a little bit off topic just because, the whole Corey thing reminded me. Our first time on video last week. So sent it out to a lot of family and friends and, got a lot of really good feedback. And someone whose opinion I hold very dearly told me, you're cursing too much profanity, just talk and be relaxed and just talk about the shit because your shit as I'm cursing now. But
I love you so much how you're not supposed to curse and then you hit 3 shits in the same sentence.
But I just want to, again, I know we did it the second week, but again, I just want to thank all the family and friends for the support, for showing their love. And we got the love for everybody out there, and this is why we're doing this. And I just want to thank that person again because I hold his opinion very highly, and I'm going to try. I'm going to try not to curse. I don't know how successful I'll be, but I'll make an effort.
You can follow along and see how successful Getz is going to be with his pledge to curse a little bit less. Follow. You can hit Crackbacks954. Follow the YouTube channel, the Instagram, and Twitter page is going to be more active in the coming days here. But go on, subscribe to it, hit that like button at the bottom of the screen. It's a labor of love here. We're not making any money or anything off this here. We just like to talk sports. 3 guys that have always talked a lot of sports. We got a lot of friends that enjoy it as well. So I just want to expand the conversation to as many people as possible. So you took my question, went completely to the left. So let's steer it back onto the road here. What's your word? The draft pick that pissed you off the most years later?
All right. So nightmare draft picks, traumatizing moments. As a Philadelphia Eagles fan, I've had many. And people don't understand, man. The Eagles, they won the Super Bowl a couple years ago. We were good through all the McNabb years. There were very many lean years where I had nothing to look forward to but the draft. Are we going to get a quarterback? Who are we going to get? This and that. And this is, there was the good years with Randall Cunningham and Reggie White back in that era. Then there was like a 10, 15-year drought till McNabb came around. And I want to thank Andy Reid for that. But we had some hard draft picks.
Super Bowl champion, Andy Reid.
That's right. Super Bowl champion. Shout out to Big Red. Want to get you on the program someday.
Yes, sir.
Well, I will personally make you meatloaf if you come on the show, Andy Reid.
Yo, on a side note, what's up with the Stroganoff, dog?
Yeah, that's a different show. Tell me your draft pick.
Damn it. All right. So when the Reggie White era was kind of winding down, Buddy Ryan had already left. The Eagles defense was starting to diminish from the best defense in the league down to not so good. We had like a 13th, 14th pick in the draft, and we actually traded up with Tampa Bay. They were at 7, I believe. So we traded them that first-round pick that year and the first-round pick the following year, which turned out to be Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks. And we traded up to get Mike Mamula. Joel knows very well who Mamula is. Those of you who don't, look it up. Dude sucked. The coach was impressed by his combine bullshit, all the underwear Olympics and the dude running around, broad jump, benching, running the 40 time. And then famously the coach said, he's a killer. I can see it in his eyes. I just know when I look in his eyes, I know. Yeah, you didn't know, motherfucker.
Those are famous words of Ray Rhodes.
Yes, Ray Rhodes. He didn't last in any head job anywhere.
Below the screen there'll be a link to Mike Mamula's Wikipedia page. You could read up on Mike Mamula.
Yeah, go ahead and check career stats versus Warren Sapp, who we could have just stayed where we were and took Warren Sapp. But no, we're gonna move up to take Mike Mamula. So there's one. There was another one when the Eagles were rocking with Andy Reid and Donovan McNabb, and it was kind of like the window was closing. It was getting late in the era. We needed a receiver or a corner, maybe an outside linebacker. And I think it was like 22, 23. We took a fireman. The guy was working as a professional firefighter. Danny Watkins. I don't even know what school he went to at this point. I don't remember. But he was fucking garbage. He had to have ankle surgery before he played a game. And he was terrible. He was a professional firefighter when we drafted him. And all the dudes on draft night were like, oh, nobody knows who this guy is, but he's got so much heart. He's a firefighter. He goes in and risks his lives. I don't care. Just protect the quarterback.
First off, shouts to all the firemen out there. You are the true hero.
Yeah, all the first responders. I appreciate you. But let me bring
Danny Watkins. Danny Watkins. I do remember that day. Danny Watkins had a couple of strikes against him.
You were there that day. You bring it up as many times as you can.
He was old. He was old to begin with. So when I mean old, he was old for football. He was like 26 years old getting drafted. He went to Baylor, by the way. You couldn't remember that. He went to Baylor.
Oh, thank you.
I was fact checking myself. No, he was terrible. He was absolute garbage.
Let me bring you to my all-time worst Eagles draft moment because I was there. I was at the draft. So, again, this was after the Reggie White era. The defense was kind of winding down. We needed a middle linebacker bad. That was our number one team need, middle linebacker. So I'm at the draft with a couple of my boys, with this one dude who's like the biggest Eagles fan I've ever met. Shout out to John Fursick, a.k.a. the Eagle.
Friend of the program.
EDG, homie. So we're in the stands at the draft, at the actual draft in Madison Square Garden, and the Eagles pick is coming. And there's a couple teams in front of us that needed a middle linebacker, and Ray Lewis was on the board. I don't need to remind people who Ray Lewis is, who Ray Lewis was, what Ray Lewis did in the league besides stabbing people.
That would have been a killer pick.
And a monster, all-time, all-pro, one of the best middle linebackers ever. So Ray Lewis is on the board. I'm at the draft watching this go down. Two teams pass on him right in front of us. Eagles pick comes up. I jump up out of my seat, start screaming, "We're getting Ray Lewis! We're getting Ray Lewis!" I'm hugging this dude next to me. "We're getting Ray Lewis!" Tagliabue walks up to the stage, goes to the podium, says, "Eagles select left guard from Texas A&I Kingsbury, Jermaine Mayberry." If there's anybody out there that's not an Eagles fan that knows who Jermaine Mayberry is, call in right now.
He has a food truck in Sacramento.
How do you know this?
They do like fusion barbecue tacos, like soul food tacos.
Jermaine Mayberry?
Jermaine Mayberry, yeah. He makes his own
let's
soda.
add in another fun fact. They drafted the left tackle, and he was blind in his left eye.
That's the full definition of keep your head on a swivel. You have to keep
it up. You cannot make this up.
You have to keep going. You have to keep going. Yeah, Jermaine Mayberry makes his own soda. It's absolutely delicious. He, some strange like lychee. He likes flavors like that.
I love it. Drink.
Yeah, passion fruit elderberry. That's another one that's a big seller. Yeah,
lychee martinis are delicious, actually.
Yeah, I like lychee. You know something? I'm not a huge martini guy. I like vodka, but I like it with tonic in it.
All right, let me hear some draft blunders from you guys.
Reek, who's your draft blunder?
I'm gonna go with just a more recent one because I guess that's more the Jets history I'm aware of. And back like 2006, I would say, when we drafted Nick Mangold, that had there was a stretch of like 3 or 4 home run drafts that the Jets had. That was really orchestrated by Mangini, right? And Rex Ryan took over that. And in 2009, traded up to the number 6 to pick Mark Sanchez. When Pete Carroll said on live TV that he's not ready for the NFL. Yes. So his college coach is saying he's not ready, and Rex says, yeah, I want to trade up for that guy. That changed everything because you see how bad Mark Sanchez is and what he was able to do for those 2 years. Could you imagine what a starting level quarterback could have done with that team if they went to the 2 AFC championship games with Mark Sanchez?
Braylon Edwards played his heart out for Mark Sanchez.
Sanchez, Philadelphia Eagle.
Yeah.
Former Philadelphia. He bounced around a little bit, too.
For the Cowboys for a bit.
Denver for a minute.
Reek, do you remember who the other quarterbacks available at that point were?
We can look that up right now.
Yeah, let's look that up because I kind of erased that draft from my mind. Like, I don't think about it too
He was
much.
picked what?
There's got to be at
Six,
least
six.
one.
He's picked 6. 09 draft, pick 6.
I still remember they had the Sanchez. He was up in like the suite, and they had him on the phone, and the Jets were telling him that they were trading up to take him, and he started like dancing and pumping his fists. And I'm just thinking, this dude sucks.
Terrible, dude. Terrible.
They could have AC Slater play him in the Mark Sanchez story. It would be on TNT.
Yeah, that is true.
Right. So when the Jets came up, they picked 5th. Now Stafford this is a
Oh,
bullshit
5th, my bad.
quarterback draft. Matt Stafford was first. Matt Stafford sucked.
Matt Stafford's still a starting level quarterback. He's way better than Mark Sanchez.
No, granted, he is
Way
than
better.
Sanchez. The next quarterback that was on it was Josh Freeman at pick
Ooh,
number
brutal.
17.
Dude,
Josh Freeman, yeah, currently Josh Freeman.
he's not even in the league, right?
No, he's an Amazon driver. He works out of the Brickell office. They have 4-hour prime delivery down in
They do. That's sick.
but that's his area. He's a 4-hour prime delivery guy, Josh Freeman.
That's a rough draft.
That's a fucking
And
rough
that's
draft.
those are the only 2 quarterbacks that went in the first round. The next quarterback taken, he went to sleep on the field. You guys know who that is. He went to sleep. He played for the Dolphins. He was asleep on the side. He got put to sleep.
Oh,
White?
Pat White.
Whoa! Pat White could have been a New York Jet.
This is the worst quarterback draft ever, yo.
yeah. It's legit the worst quarterback draft
This
ever.
is the shittiest quarterback draft I've ever seen, yo. The next one on it was Stephen McGee in the 4th round. Went to the Cowboys.
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M probably would have been better in New York than Mark Sanchez. That's the worst quarterback draft ever.
No wonder they traded up, though.
Stafford's the only guy that's still in there. He went first overall, and Stafford absolutely sucks.
I still think on those 2 Jets teams, he would have done much better.
I agree. I think Matt Stafford is way overrated. I had Calvin Johnson for years.
Yeah.
Stafford's garbage.
Just fling the ball in the general direction of Matt Stafford. Oh, another friend of the program. We just saw Padme.
Yes.
Yeah, we need
Padme
Padme.
the Frenchie.
What's up, homie?
Pop up on there. You can hit up Padme on the gram as well at Padme the Frenchie. You can also find Padme through at Ricky Leaky. I've said it twice this time. Ricky Leaky hasn't said it at all, which is rare. He usually says it 30 or 40 times. But
I was saving my ammunition. I was saving that.
you can hit me at Ricky Leaky.
Yeah, hit me up.
So yeah, all right. So it's down to me actually. So my worst draft pick, draft day memory, whichever.
Wait. That's it? Only one for the Jets?
Well, I did ask for one. I asked for the most hurtful because I mean the Falcons have.
There's a lot. I'd be here forever talking about it.
The Falcons have the Andre Bruce pick. That's not the one that I'm talking about right now, which at one point was the worst pick ever. But no, that's not even the one that hurts the most. It was 2004 or 5. I didn't even look up the year. That I'm going to look back. It hurts too much to look at it. We needed a safety. And we were picking at 16, and a man who was just inducted into the Hall of Fame, Miami's own Ed Reed, was available on the board. To make it even worse, the Falcons had just signed Warwick Dunn, and we had Michael Vick in the backfield already. The run game was on lock. We didn't need anything else for the run game. I'm sitting there. I'm stomping around the room, punching the air. I got a Vick jersey on, and it wasn't Goodell yet. It was still Tagliabue. Comes up and was like the Atlanta Falcons select running back from Michigan State, T.J. Duckett.
Yes.
Now, although the DVD backfield was birthed that day, and we did go to an NFC Championship game, if Ed Reed's patrolling the backside of the defense, maybe we pick off McNabb and actually get to the Super Bowl instead of lose it.
Easy. Vic was scared. Dawkins had broken his ribs the year before in a playoff game. Vic came to that NFC Championship game scared as shit.
He also didn't watch any film.
He was scared of Dawkins, admit it.
And he was too busy killing dogs.
Ed Reed wouldn't have mattered, son. We were a team of destiny.
Ed Reed would have helped, though. He would have helped way more than T.J. Duckett did.
Ed Reed,
Speaking of Vic, real quick, did you guys like that documentary on ESPN about the 30 for 30?
It was solid.
I thought it was very good.
They
What's
had a
that?
whole kind of redemption thing for him, and they showed him that, and he actually admitted to it. One of the things that about Vic that actually it's
Fuck
a bit
him.
a little impressive. He's done everything they've asked him to do to fix. He talks to kids. Yeah, he goes to humane societies. He's done everything that they've asked him to do, which is the only thing you can do. The guy screwed up, and he's trying to make it a little better. There's a complete opposite direction you can go, where a lot of people just say, you can, kiss off, whatever, and I'm just going to do whatever I'm going to do. But the guy actually seems to have turned around his thing. That's at least commendable in the very least. And if the Jets had him instead of Mark Sanchez, they probably would have beat the Colts and gone to the Super Bowl that year. We got to pay some bills. Crackback. Be back in just a minute.
Soca sauce, hot Trinidadian flavor.
Core. All right, and Crackbacks, we're back here. Last segment of the day. Big news coming out for basketball now. We have been a while now that kids had to go to school for at least 1 year. You had to be out of the high school game for 1 year before you can go to the NBA. Everyone used to go to college route. Then we had a kid, Tyler Johnson, who played for the Knicks, was a center that played in Japan for a year. Some people like LaMelo Ball have gone to Lithuania or Australia. But the first time now we've got a player that's going to be staying right here on U.S. soil and playing in a developmental portion of the G League for $5,000.
$500,000.
$500,000. You're right. Yeah. Did I say 5,000?
Yes, very cheap.
Yeah. No. You're the worst agent ever. I'm taking money out of this kid's pocket. So it's $500,000. So $500,000 to play a season in the developmental league. The kid's name is Green. Is Caleb Green, Jalen Green, and it's changing up the game now. So he's not going to be on an actual team, just so to kind of set the stage. So the G League is pretty much a minor league for the NBA now. It's kind of like how baseball is. They can pull people up or send them down to the minors that need to work on an injury or just get better or whichever. So each team kind of has 100%. So they have a G League team that's kind of attached to the parent NBA team, like the Westchester Knicks. There's like a San Jose Lakers, things of that sort. He's not going to be attached to any one of those. He's going to be on a developmental team. So he'll be going through almost like college, basketball university. He'll be doing drills and special training, and then he'll play exhibition games against international opponents and select teams from the G League themselves. So he's pretty much just going to a basketball skills camp with some exhibition games in between for a year for $500,000, and then he'll be the first pick in the draft after, never having to go to statistics class or English. Thoughts? Is the NCAA done? Is NCAA basketball dead as we know it?
Go ahead, Gets.
Let me just say this as far as the format of what he's going to. And I only was aware of this today, and I read one article that said basically he's not going to be on a competitive team. Like you said, he's just doing drills and getting coaching and working on his development. As an athlete, you don't develop that way. That's not how sports works. That's why, going from high school and then going to college and then going to pros, you need that seasoning of playing competitive games, going into pressure situations, going late in the season and having your team rely on you. That's one thing that LeBron never had. Jumped right from high school into the pros, and they said, oh, you're the chosen one. And he didn't have the time to go to college and get really good coaching from a Coach K or, Dean Smith or, these guys that have been doing it for years and know how to take an 18-year-old kid and turn him into a 22-year-old all-star. So, it's great that the kid's making money. I don't doubt for a second that kids that get recruited and actually go to college are actually making money and getting money on the side and getting cars.
Be taking a pay cut. Yeah, he might be taking a pay cut to do this route.
Yeah, absolutely.
Reek?
Yeah, overall, the NCAA for a while is kind of – because it's kind of already started, with the guys last year with you got, R.J. Hampton and LaMelo Ball. They're playing in Australia.
Yeah, even a few years ago, Brandon Jennings went and played in China.
Yeah. It's been trending towards that, but this could be kind of the nail on the coffin, which I hope it is, because I think, it's so flagrant what the NCAA does. They try to call them student athletes when they're really amateurs. They're really amateurs. They're amateur athletes. That's really what they are. and
Wait.
they make too much money off them.
All around anymore?
What's that?
You said it's the nail in the coffin, which you hope it is. So you're saying you don't want college basketball around anymore?
No, I don't want the NCAA around anymore. I love college basketball.
What I think Reek's trying to say is
college
that
basketball,
it's gonna force the NCAA's hand at this point. So I agree with you on one part that the competitive games, having to play when maybe you don't feel as great, your ankle's tweaked a little, something like that. You're not going to practice and go through drills if you have an ankle strain, but you may play in the game. It teaches you how to get through things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you on that he's going to miss something out with the competitive. But I also think that this is purely he's the guinea pig. So there's only one of him right now. In 5 years, if there's 20 of them, that's almost enough for 2 teams. You pull some select guys that are already in the G League. You got a couple of teams. They're going to turn this into a second minor league. It's going to be like the G League minors, where you got to go there, and then you either go into the NBA or the minors after. But the fact that a kid's making a legit $500,000 instead of having to, reach for envelopes under his pillow when he gets back after a game is going to be a game changer. And the fact that he doesn't have to fake like Derrick Rose faked going to class, that he can actually, I'm going to play basketball. I'm not going to learn about the Civil War or whatever. It's going to be real alluring to a lot of kids.
But there's also two different statements, right? There's skipping college in general, or skipping college just like for G League, or skipping college for the overseas, right? Because I think if LaMelo comes in, gets #1 overall pick, rookie of the year next year, it's happening already. It doesn't need to take 5 years. It's going to start happening the very next year.
But Reek, you're thinking of somebody who's traveled and been out of the country and all that. You got a kid from Pahokee, and you tell him, or you're going to go to Sydney, Australia, or you're going to go to Fort Wayne, Indiana. He's going to be way more comfortable in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and if the money's not much different, he's going to stay here in the U.S. So that I 100% get what you're saying. They got that option to go overseas there already, but a lot of those people are just scared to take a leap to go anywhere else other than America. So this is another viable option for them. The not having to fake we all know none of these kids go to school, so not having to fake.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though. Isn't it like in a year or two they're going to go back to like the Kobe and Kevin Garnett model, where they can just jump right to the league?
They've been trying to turn that. They've been talking about it for a while. They're getting pushback, obviously a lot of pushback from the NCAA, because the tournaments, they're cash cow, and if they don't have any of the star players coming through. But the other thing with that is too, it regulates itself, because there's really we can count how many guys jumped from high school to the NBA and were legit, and how many guys have gone high school to the NBA and were complete garbage. Kwame Browns, your Darius Miles.
Of this kid that's going to the G League, he could do it.
Look at someone like J.R. Smith is a perfect example. If he actually would have went to North Carolina and had some Hall of Fame coaching before he got to the league, I think he would have been a much better player. He was just too immature.
Absolutely. J.R. Smith is an all-star NBA player if he goes to college first. That's a supreme athlete that never learned how to play basketball.
Are you saying it's not an all-star?
Not in his own mind, J.R. Smith.
In his own mind. He's MVP, bro.
Yeah,
he won the finals.
In J.R. Smith's mind, he's Jordan.
If he decides to lace him up for the Shanghai Sharks, he would be an all-star in the Chinese league too.
He was pissed when LeBron won MVP of the finals, man. He thought it should have been him in 2016. When he sunk those 3-pointers, he thought that changed the series.
JR's a fun player to watch, man. He was fun to watch. He was fun on the Knicks.
On the Knicks, that when he was rookie, when he was Sixth Man of the Year, when he actually took his game serious. That's the only year he ever took serious in the NBA was that year.
He came in with the Tupac hair.
That's Joel. I always used to say the most exciting moment in the NBA is when J.R. Smith used to go into the crossover. When he used to push everybody away and be like, give me the ISO, leave me alone.
Start dancing.
Start crossing people over. J.R. Smith was nasty.
Yeah.
J.R. Smith could ball, man. But you're right. Never absolutely never learned how to play basketball. He actually would be a better basketball player if he even went through this developmental league that Green's going to be going through. It's going to look completely different in 2 years. A couple of things are going to change. Either the NCAA is going to bend to their will, and they're going to do the Ed O'Bannon thing and start paying all the players kind of out in the open.
Please, Jesus, if you hear me, I need the NCAA football game back.
The basketball game was dope, too.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So they're either going to force the NCAA's hand or this league's going to expand itself where it's actually going to be like another league where it's like a JV NBA type deal. Because $500,000, if you're a poor kid, again, not to pick on Pahokee, but it's stuck in my head right now. You're a poor kid from Pahokee and you can play ball. Either, I'm saying, they may give you that money underneath the table, but you go play ball in Fort Wayne, Indiana. $500,000 is a lot of money for someone who didn't have anything.
Well, you can look at baseball because, hockey and baseball have minor leagues, but baseball has kind of developed into this thing where, like, the kids will commit to go to a college, and then, like, the teams will draft them or not draft them or slide them back based on what type of signing bonus they're going to get.
So
like, I don't know if
to
you guys
try it out.
They remember J.D. Drew?
Yeah, the kid there was a third baseman and a quarterback, right?
Well, he was like the number one prospect in baseball. I think he went to Florida State for like a minute, and then a bunch of teams like decided not to draft him because he wanted like a $10 million signing bonus or some shit
You
like
said
that.
J.D. Drew? I thought Drew Henson. That's what the quarterback.
No, J.D. Drew Henson was nasty too. Tom Brady beat out Drew Henson at Michigan. Fun fact for y'all.
Wow.
But I don't like the way it is in baseball where like the draft comes around and they're like, oh, we're concerned about his signability. So like if the NBA turns into that where like, they're drafting people based on whether they think they might be able to sign them or if they're might going to go to college, like I don't like that at all.
Well, I don't think it would be that would come up in the NBA just because it's the number of players. There's less players involved, so
Yeah.
the cap makes it that what type of contract you're going to get by the length of service that you're in there.
Well, there's no hard cap, right? It's like a luxury tax in the NBA.
No, well, there is a hard ceiling. You can go. There's a soft cap, and then there's a hard ceiling. You can't exceed the hard ceiling. You get taxed to all bloody hell in between the ceiling and the soft cap and the ceiling. So you can't go above a certain number. But that's what keeps that part where you worried about it being able to sign somebody or not. That's not going to happen because you kind of already know what your contract is coming in.
Right.
But the amount of money the NCAA is going to lose, that what you just said there sounds like a viable option where they do have the chance of still going in the draft. You got picked by the Clippers at number 8. You're not gonna make the squad. All right, so I'm gonna go play at Dayton for 2 years and then come back and try it again. That sounds like something that's viable.
I personally, I love the NCAA tournament. March Madness is like one of my favorite parts of the whole year that we got denied of to this year. But so I would like for all the star players to actually go to college and stay in college for a couple of years. I know it sucks that they're not getting paid and they're bringing in a ton of revenue. Just fucking pay the kids, man. They're making a ton of money, millions. And the old argument is always like, oh, well, those, basketball and football fund all the other sports, so you'd be taking money away from them. Oh, well, sell some tickets.
Exactly.
Do a raffle.
Or put it right into their scholarship contract, right? So your jersey sales, you get X amount from that.
It's exactly.
Yeah, it's going to have to
that.
be something that's negotiated. It's not just a blanket number because you're going to have every once in a while someone in an off sport somewhere that's going to be bringing revenue into the school, and then he can go back and negotiate, or she can go back and negotiate how much money is going to be coming back. So, for instance, when Michael Phelps was in college, people actually watched swimming, so that's where there's this revenue coming in for that. There's some of the soccer games now are catching some traction. People are watching that. Maybe you get some money in there. You probably get some local TV money for lacrosse in upstate New York and stuff like that. So you can kind of negotiate how much you're going to make. That's a viable option. The one they're saying there, how they have a chance to actually kind of go in the draft, they don't make it and come back.
And there's always the old school story for those of you who never saw the 30 for 30. Chris Webber was in the Fab Five and was pretty much the most popular basketball player in the country. And he said one night he was scrounged up money to get something to eat, said he was hungry, the dining hall was closed, and he's like literally digging change out of the couch to go to McDonald's to buy something off the dollar menu. And he says as he's going to McDonald's, he walks by a Foot Locker that has his jersey, the Chris Webber, number 4, in the window of the Foot Locker. He went in, they were selling them for $75 a crack.
He didn't get a cent.
Didn't get nothing. Not a dime.
Get a cent. They had them flying. They did a European tour before the NCAA season started that year, the Michigan Wolverines. So they had those kids playing basketball in Rome. They played in Greece, which is a nice experience for them. Don't get me wrong, but the university made a shit ton of money off of that, and those kids didn't see any of it. So they all left early.
Okay, can I ask you this though? Is the Fab Five like the most talked about basketball team that never won anything? I don't get how people talk about them so much. They never really won anything.
They were solution though. It was more than just them winning, which I mean they did do. Their freshman and sophomore years, they went to the final both years.
Yeah.
There's other teams that come short too. They're not the only ones. Why are they so?
You got to understand though, it was more like a cultural revolution.
Yeah,
like
the long short. They were the first one with the long shorts.
Look back at all the NBA teams that had those tight ass short shorts, and then the Fab Five came around, and everybody's wearing like the long shorts, like we know, like today.
And the black socks. Nobody wore black socks.
I guess I'm just a Jalen hater, so I never want to respect the Fab Five for anything.
Yeah,
that's really what it comes down to.
I loved Weber as a player. Like he was.
I like Weber. I just don't like Jalen. I like Weber though.
Yeah, I didn't like Jalen Rose either. I don't like Jalen Rose now, but I loved Chris Webber. Chris Webber was a monster.
I like Jalen Rose more than I like Juwan Howard.
Hey, but he's actually making some moves out there.
No, but he was the wackest member.
The other two, I forget what their names are.
Yeah, it was
Jimmy
King and Ray Jackson.
Yes, those two.
Jimmy King and Ray Jackson both had cups of coffee in the NBA. Ray Jackson actually stuck with the Timberwolves for a minute. I don't think that King ever made a roster.
He wasn't on second.
No, I don't think he ever made a roster. I mean, I'll have to look that up. I'll fact check myself, but I don't think he ever made a roster.
Yeah, I think they said that on. I think they would have said that on a documentary at 30 for 30 if he would have made a roster.
I don't remember him making a roster. Jalen, in college, you would have liked Jalen, or at least respected him a touch more than you do now had you seen him play at Michigan, because he really was a dominant college basketball player. He's a man without a position, at least when he played. He'd be more suited for kind of the positionless NBA game of today than he would have been when he played.
College.
But he's not really a point guard.
Combo guard. He could shoot a little bit. They had him playing point. He really should have been playing a 2-3. He's almost like what RJ should be playing right now, like a swing 2-3. But they had. Let's not forget Kobe dropped 80 on him.
Kobe did drop 80 on him.
Kobe did drop 80 on him.
I think he actually said on TV, like, in my defense, he only scored like 19 on me or something. But then somebody looked it up and it was like on 8 of 8 shooting or something like that. Like, I think it was 19, but he got buckets on him every time.
There's a commercial.
Don't quote me on those stats, but it's somewhere around there.
ESPN has a commercial way back in the day. It was right after the 80-point game where Kobe's having dinner, and Jalen walks up to him, and all Kobe's looks up and he goes, "I'll have," to the waiter, goes, "I'll have a martini with 80 olives in it." Just stares at Jalen. Jalen turns all red and all that. It's fantastic. ESPN used to make commercials back in the day. But yeah, the NCAA is dead. So all these stories that we're talking about here about the Fab Five and all that, maybe we may get a team that sticks around 2 or 3 years because they are making enough money to sustain themselves and all the people around them. Don't jump to the NBA because they actually do want to win an NCAA championship. It was fun when we were kids. You would see Patrick Ewing playing as a senior. I think the last guy that stayed all the way till senior year was Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan, yeah.
That's 20 years ago. Even Allen Iverson stayed 2 years instead of just the one. So it was nice you could kind of see a guy grow a little bit in college.
Yeah, it was back then because like going into the tournament, you knew who the teams were. You've been watching them for 2 or 3 years, and it was good to see. Okay, sophomore year, junior year, next year they're going to get it. Like nowadays, by the time it gets to the tournament, you're just learning who the freshmen are, and then maybe somebody goes off in the tournament, and you end up rooting for that guy. It was just so much better when the dude stayed.
Yeah, you were really just rooting for a uniform this time around. You kind of pick your team, and that's who you kind of stick with. There'd be guys back in the day that you kind of latch on to. Like, I don't like Michigan State whatsoever, but Sean Respert was real fun to watch. I don't like Purdue whatsoever. We got 3 years of Glenn Big Dog Robinson dominating up there. That guy was real fun to watch.
You love Big Dog.
I do love the Big Dog.
How about the UNLV teams, man?
UNLV team.
Larry Johnson stayed to his junior year.
And you will never see that again unless they pay them enough to have them stay in college. But
Joe will never get to a Duke team. I was waiting for it, but I know it never happened.
absolutely not. Absolutely. Plus, we're also talking about people that that would be pro prospects. And other than recently, there was a long stretch of time in between where you were rolling out John Shires and what's Skeletor's name?
John Shire's a champion, by the way.
What's the Skeletor that played on the Pistons? White guy.
Kyle
Kyle
Singler.
Singler. Yes, that's what you were rolling out for a while. For a while, the MVP.
Hey, but he's still in the league, man. Joe Barry can't even find a spot in the league, and Kyle Singler's still in the league.
He's 5'8", man. Joe Barry's too small. He's the one that helps maybe
So is
sodas on the weekend.
Isn't Cameron Payne like 5'6"? Isaiah Thomas like 5'6"? What's up? There's 5'6" players.
Nah, that guy that we speak champions. He's 5'6". Oh, people with height. Speaking of height, we were talking about Kobe a second ago. Iverson was mentioned earlier. Iverson had a quote. I thought about guess when I saw it, and it said, "Kobe Bryant goes, everyone in the NBA should thank God that Allen Iverson's not 6'6".
Hell yeah, that's what I always said.
So, that he would have been without a doubt. He would have pushed Jordan for the best two guard ever had he been 6'6".
I was a beast.
Super of an athlete.
5'10", 5'11", dunking on centers.
Fantastic. And an all county and all city football player at quarterback and corner in Maryland. If he had decided to play football instead of basketball, he would have made the NFL as well.
And he was he lived right around all those Virginia Tech guys.
Oh yeah, and he's played with the Vics. Yeah.
Allen Iverson as a quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we're going to end on that. We got the draft coming up next week here where we're going to be live casting during the draft. We're going to do a little pregame before that there. We might do a show in between because we're quarantined and we ain't got nothing else to do. So shout outs again to Mike Flug for the theme music. He said he's
Lord, yeah, we're going to drop in Mike Flug's email, his website, get at him. You need the music done, whatever you're doing, let's do it for you.
Rick, any parting words?
Hit me up on Twitter @RickyDeaky. What's up?